TRW. Here again with La Reconquista. The battle is Quart. I was reading up a bit on this battle actually. Yeah, Quart or Quart, something like that. 1094. I guess I'll just go around the board. This is just a pile of step loss markers. PP is Spanish for it's the Spanish acronym for whatever the name is for these, but they're step loss markers. Got an image of wounded soldiers there. Evocative for sure. Everything about this game is evocative, I think, for a system game. Here we have our terrain markers for Kala, which are fortresses, Gaba, which are woods, and Yabal, which are Yabal or Yabal. I'm not sure where the accent is, but those are your hills. And you have a pool of these. You draw these at times in the game to get a random die roll modifier. Okay, here we have the Christian sides Noxot markers. These are activation markers, is what they are. This is the pool of unit types, because these are all of the markers that come with the game. So these are not used, but I could use these as little memory markers, well, actually I have the replacements set out already actually. Anyways, these are your unit markers. Again, each side has 10 types. Each side has 10 types, but each of the 10, if I remember correctly, each of the 10 are kind of corresponding. So you have, both sides have a kind of very, very low quality, basically peasant foot unit, all the way up to a heavily armored heavy cavalry, which are knights on the Christian side, Rabat on the Muslim side. Can't remember if they're, well, here's a, here they are. This is what I mean by Muslim Rabat, or heavy cavalry, heavily armored cavalry. Nice images on the markers are all around. Here we have the archer markers. Again, just archers are handled not by units on the board, but by these designed for effect type markers. Here are the 3 that were drawn randomly for this turn with values 1, 4, and 6. This is from another game. This is from Great Battles of History series, but this is to remind me, yeah, this is the number of units of a particular type class, a number of classes, that once this number is lost, the number of archer markers you draw is 1 less. These 4 units here represent the replacements that may be, here's 4 here, that may be brought into the game using the replacements mechanic. This is actually a unit in play, but here we have the Alama markers for each side. Alama is the number of activation points you can use in the second series of activation phases or impulses. I'm using these to remind me about charges, and I'm using them to remind me because, as far as I understand, you're going to move during the movement impulse, but you're going to execute the charge combat with the +2 modifier during the combat impulse that follows. So just in case there's any question, discrepancy, or if there's a lot of action in between those two things, I can remember. Each side has a Moloch marker. That's the leader, which again is very abstract. It does not represent any named historical figure. It doesn't even represent a functioning leader. It's just an abstract, an abstract center of leadership, but very broadly speaking. And then we have the same things on the Christian side. Christian archers, markers, Christian number of those units that can be lost before you reduce your archer unit draw or chit draw, and the Christian replacement units over there. The Christian side has already lost a yine unit, but they also have a yine replacement there. Okay, so it's the start of the turn. Yeah, I drew archer's markers. Yeah, the next thing is the activation roll. That's where I left off. So each side rolls 2d6. I don't think there are any modifiers to this at all. They actually both get 9. All right, so what we do here, and players can do this at the same time. I don't think there's any sequence here. This has to be an even number, so you round up to get an even number. So each side has 10. You divide that in half. 5 is the number of Naxat markers you will place now for the first impulses. There are 5 Naxat markers. Here's 5 Christian Naxat markers, like that. Then the second 5 from the halving here. The second 5 is your Alama value. So you put it on this track here. Here's the Christians have a 5 for the second impulses, and the Christians have the same 5. So they both have 5. Again, as a base number, it's 5 activation points that can be used in the second set of impulses, in the second half of the turn. Okay. There is this 7, by the way, still represents, that's a reminder for me that the Christian side still has the Despertaferro card that applies to his Almo units. These are these 3 infantry units there. Almo. I almost remembered the name. Almogavars. Yeah. Should have remembered that. Okay, so I think we can. So I don't think there's anything else. Preparatory. These are things that aren't listed on the sequence of play, and frankly, I wish they were. All these little things, little but important things. Okay, so now we can place Naxat markers. We have, yeah. Well, I was moving up my light cavalry. I guess they're okay now. So now I'm gonna move on the right. Let's see what we can accomplish on the Muslim right. So I'm placing my Naxat markers. I'll move light cavalry, that cavalry there, medium cavalry there, and the Moloch marker is also stacked with medium cavalry, so we'll move the medium infantry there. Alright, so the Christians, what are the Christians doing? Definitely going to move up the infantry to keep them on line. It's 2. Actually, they're going to move. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Actually, going to try to push in the center with the order units here, like that, and then we'll move up with this one, this medium cavalry. Okay. So Naxat markers are placed. Now we go to the player A activation phase for movement. Now we go in order. If there are any heavy cavalry, there are not any heavy cavalry to move, I mean. So we have infantry, infantry, cavalry, and cavalry. So the cavalry, first you move your heavy cavalry, don't have any on the Muslim side, then you move your other cavalry. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the first unit to move, which is important to keep that recorded. Then the other cavalry unit is the second unit to move. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we can move our infantry. So we're done moving the cavalry. Now we move the infantry. Third unit to move. Go 1, 2. Then we go the fourth unit to move is the Suhada infantry there. They have 2, so they're going to move 1, 2. Now that was the fourth unit to move. That's what I'm using this knocks out marker to record. That was the fourth unit to move. And the Christians have a 4 archer unit, archer chit, not unit chit. And these are face down on your side of the board like that. So you're gonna pick it up. You've looked at the numbers. You're going to show the opponent, and then you're going to conduct an archer attack to against that unit that just moved. So the Suhada unit, and they roll a 1, which is nothing. There are a few modifiers, but you can't get a 5 or a 6 to get a result. All right, then this unit moves. This is the 5th unit to move. Ooh, they only have a movement value of 1. And that's the 5th unit to move. Again, the Christian side has a 5. They show the 5. They conduct an archer attack. Oh, they roll 1 again. Bad luck this turn so far. There. And now, those are the 5 Muslim units to move. Now we go to, actually at this point, I think you do. Again, this isn't on the, I wish it was on the sequence of play, but I think this is after each own movement impulse. I think that after each friendly movement impulse, which again is not on the sequence of play, but this is the friendly movement phase for the Muslim player. It's after we're all done, but before we do normal combat, I guess you could say melee combat. So now we do ranged combat. Who has the ability? I always forget. Bale, Goose, and Bamo. Alright, so here's Bale, Goose. We'll do the Bale unit here first against the Yine unit. This is a oh wait, this is ranged combat, which is different. So I think I said randomly draw from their own. Player chooses randomly one of his archer markers. Boom. He rolls a 2. He shows it to his opponent. That's going to be really easy to beat. Die roll modifiers are a column marker and heavy cavalry. Neither applies here. So they roll. Yeah, they easily get it. So this is 7, which is 5 more. 5 more than the value there, which means that it is a step loss. Now we have another eliminated unit. So here the Yine unit has a step value of 1, which again means you have to exceed that to eliminate the unit. So it already had a step loss marker. A second step loss marker would mean it has 2 step loss markers, which exceeds that value. So it's eliminated. Now we have 2 Yine units eliminated. All right, now we go. This one goes back in. Not only does it go back in the pile, you actually have to shuffle them, because you could draw the same one again. Because I think I have a Goose unit here who's going to fire at the. I think that's an order unit. So this is a modifier. This is a heavy So he draws a 2 again. Draws a 2 again, so this is, well, it's +1 because it, yeah, 7. Okay, so it's if the target is a ribat or order unit that has not made a charge in its previous impulse. So that means that, I'm thinking to myself, this is beyond the rules. Now I'm wondering if I shouldn't leave the charge marker on the unit if it, as a reminder, so that in the following impulse, so this would be, yeah. And now that I had a break between playing, I wouldn't even remember whether that unit was one that charged or not. I don't even remember. So I guess I should leave the charge marker on there. Or I'll try to remember to do that. I'll just assume it does not apply, so it is +1. So this order unit takes a step loss from the archer fire. Like that. It has a step value of 3 though. Alright, so that is the Muslim ranged combat. Now we're going to go to melee because we have these adjacent units right here. Alright, now I'm going to remember this. I have to remember this mechanic. Yeah, it's a 1 die unit, 1 attack die unit. Suhara infantry. You roll. Wow, they've had really horrible luck. Well, actually, they've had good luck with the archer fire. Bad luck with everything else. So I know that he can't get anything because, and this was something for me to remember, I need to remember that a unit with a 1 attack die value, the maximum die roll modifiers that unit can have is +1. If it's a 2 attack die unit, like this infantry here, maximum modifier is +2, and 3 and 3. Oh wow, the Muslims don't have any 3 attack die units. Well, the order unit on the Christian side has 3 attack dice there, so that order units can only have maximum +3 die roll modifiers no matter what. So what's an example of that? So even a 3 attack die unit like that order unit, they could have +1 for more than 2 or more units attacking the same target. They could have +1 because that target has at least 1 step loss marker with it. Oh, and then let's say it charges. That would be another +2 for a total of +4. Max you would actually assess is +3. There we go. There are other examples. There are examples where a 1 attack die unit, for example, could easily get more than +1 die roll modifier, but those are limits there. 1 attack die, +1 die roll modifier max. 2, 2, 3, 3. Okay. Alright, so alright, so yeah, that's just nothing. Alright, so that is the Muslim, or the first player. Oh, I forgot to say this. I don't think I said this is my reminder that the Muslims were the first deployer, and this is my reminder that the Muslims also happen to roll higher on the first initiative die roll, which indicates that they're player A every turn. So first deployer, player A. That's player A, combat phase complete.